Nestled in the heart of Iowa, Villisca was the kind of small town where neighbors knew each other by name, where the streets were quiet after sunset, and where secrets were whispered but never spoken aloud. In the early summer of 1912, this picturesque community became the epicenter of a nightmare that would haunt it for over a century. The Moore family, Josiah, his wife Sarah, and their 4 children, were well loved in Villisca. They were church-going folk, known for their generosity and kindness. On the night of June 9, 1912, the Moores hosted 2 young girls, Lena and Ina Stillinger, for a sleepover after attending the Children's Day program at their local Presbyterian church. The laughter of children echoed in the house on East 2nd Street that evening, blissfully unaware of the horror that awaited them. When dawn broke on June 10th, the streets of Villisca were eerily silent. Mary Peckham, the Moores' elderly neighbor, noticed the absence of the usual morning bustle. Concerned, she knocked on their door, but received no answer. Her unease deepened, and she summoned Ross Moore, Josiah's brother. Together, they entered the house, and what they found would forever scar the town. The scene inside was one of unspeakable horror. The Moores and the Stillinger girls were found brutally murdered, their bodies lying in their beds as if frozen in time. Josiah and Sarah's room bore the marks of the killer's fury. Josiah's face had been bludgeoned so forcefully that his eyes were missing, and the axe's blunt end had left deep, splintered impressions on his skull. Sarah's lifeless form lay beside him, her face similarly destroyed by repeated blows. The children's rooms were equally horrifying. Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul Moore had been killed in their sleep, each struck multiple times with the axe. The Stillinger girls, guests of the family, were found in the downstairs bedroom. Lena Stillinger showed signs of a struggle. Her arm was positioned defensively, and her nightgown was pulled up, suggesting the killer's depravity may have extended beyond murder. However, no definitive evidence of assault was ever proven. Blood coated the walls and ceilings, and the house carried the metallic stench of death. The killer, methodical in their brutality, had covered the victims' faces with clothing or sheets, a chilling gesture that baffled investigators. The mirrors in the house had also been draped with cloth, as if to prevent anyone, living or dead, from seeing the carnage reflected back. A slab of uncooked bacon wrapped in a towel was found in the kitchen, placed near the murder weapon, which the killer had abandoned. A pan of bloody water sat in the sink, indicating the murderer had attempted to clean themselves before vanishing into the night. Footprints in the house suggested the killer had moved deliberately, pausing in the attic, where it was believed they hid, waiting for the Moores and their guests to fall asleep. Despite the chaos left behind, no definitive clues pointed to the identity of the killer. The house fell silent once more, holding its secrets within its blood-stained walls. The investigation into the murders was plagued by chaos and incompetence. Bloodhounds were brought in, but no definitive trail was found. Suspects ranged from disgruntled business rivals to transient workers, and even a traveling preacher named Reverend George Kelly, who had attended the same church event as the Moores on the night of the murders. Reverend Kelly, known for his erratic behavior and obsession with young girls, confessed to the crime in 1917, but later recanted. His confession was inconsistent and obtained under questionable circumstances. Despite 2 trials, the jury failed to reach a unanimous verdict, and Kelly was acquitted. The case grew cold, and the whispers of guilt and suspicion never truly faded from Villisca streets. Over the decades, the Moore house changed hands numerous times. Some owners attempted to live there, but most left within months, driven away by an inexplicable sense of dread. Others turned the house into a tourist attraction, capitalizing on its grim history. Paranormal investigators flocked to the property, reporting cold spots, disembodied voices, and the sound of children's laughter in the dead of night. The attic, where the killer was believed to have hidden before the murders, became a focal point of these investigations. Many claimed to feel an oppressive presence there, as though the darkness that once resided in the house had never truly left. In 2010, a group of amateur ghost hunters decided to spend the night in the Villisca Axe Murder House. Among them was Elise, a skeptic who believed the tales of hauntings were nothing more than local folklore. The group arrived just before sunset, armed with recording devices and cameras. The house appeared unassuming, almost quaint, but as darkness fell, the atmosphere shifted. Elise heard faint whispers, too low to discern but unmistakably human. In the children's bedroom, a ball rolled across the floor, though no one had touched it. One member of the group felt a cold hand brush against their arm, though no one stood near them. The most chilling event occurred in the attic, where a faint, guttural laugh echoed, freezing the group in their tracks. Elise, determined to debunk the paranormal claims, reviewed the footage they had captured. In one recording, a shadow moved across the children's bedroom, though no one had been inside. Another video captured a faint voice whispering, "Leave." For Elise, skepticism turned to belief. She returned to Villisca several times, seeking answers, but finding only more questions. The house seemed alive, a breathing entity that fed on the fear and curiosity of those who dared enter. Local legends suggest that the Villisca house is cursed, that the blood spilled in 1912 bound restless spirits to the property. Some believe the killer's spirit remains, tormented by their heinous act. Others think the house itself is a gateway, a place where the veil between the living and the dead is perilously thin. Today, the Villisca Axe Murder House stands as both a memorial to the victims and a chilling reminder of the unknown. Visitors continue to report strange occurrences, and the mystery of that fateful night in 1912 remains unsolved. Perhaps the house keeps its secrets, whispering them only to the brave or the foolish who dare to listen. And as the sun sets and shadows stretch across its walls, one question lingers in the heavy silence. Who truly walks the halls of Villisca? The living, the dead, or something far worse? End of story. This story was brought to you by Path of Nightmares. If you haven't already, like, comment, share, or subscribe, as I hope I earned your subscription. Check out my channel and my other horror stories that will scare the pants off of you.